Hello everyone and welcome to another video on IRL math. That's math in real life. This is when we take a look at current events and we create math problems to help you see how math is related to everyday life. But before we continue, I would like to say a special thank you to some of our Patreon supporters, Dr. Sylvia Calendar Carter, Latanya Moore, and Dr. John E. Carter. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon community and being a supporter so that we can create more videos like this. You can learn more about how you can become a supporter at irlmath.org/join. So thank you. Now let's take a look at our math problem of the week. So this week we have been dealing with Hurricane Dorian. And as a side note, before we even continue, I want to make sure that you are aware that there is a donation fund link below where you can donate to help victims of the hurricane. The link is right here, but I'll be putting it in the video description below so that you can donate to help victims of the hurricane. Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas specifically. So as this hurricane was brewing, I also saw a math lesson brewing as well. So as we're looking at Hurricane Dorian, I start looking at the stats regarding this hurricane. So according to the statistics from weather.com, Hurricane Dorian on September 1st was upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane. With that means the winds are traveling at a speed of 180 miles per hour. That's really, really fast, 180 miles per hour. So just imagine it whipping around that eye at 180 miles per hour. However, it was moving slowly at a rate of 7 miles per hour. So I was like, whoa, that's kind of different. So even though the winds were whipping around really fast at 180 miles per hour, it was moving from traveling west at a rate of 7 miles per hour, okay? And at that moment, it was 313 miles from the coast of Florida, okay? So at 11 a.m., let's say it's 313 miles from the coast of Florida. When will the hurricane make landfall? So this is a problem that we can actually calculate. Now, I have reduced this problem to its bare minimum of facts, right? There are lots of other factors and a lot of other things that scientists take into, meteorologists, those are scientists that study the weather, that they take into account when they are tracking a hurricane. I have simplified it to just a simple math problem, but there are a lot of other dynamics happening here. So if I was just simplifying it to a very simple math problem, I'm not worried about other variables like the jet stream or any of those other things, or how it's slowing down because of different factors, right? I'm not thinking about any of that. What I'm doing is I'm just reduced it to a simple rate problem. It's 313 miles west from the coast of Florida. Okay, so let's take a look at the problem. It says Hurricane Dorian is traveling at a rate of 7 miles per hour. And at 11 a.m., it's 313 miles from the coast of Florida. When will Hurricane Dorian make landfall? And here's a hint. Use the distance formula. All right, so let's go ahead and start working this problem out. Get my drawing tool here. Let's go ahead and start writing on the board. So a distance rate formula, is simply D equals RT. All right. Can you guess what the D stands for? Yep, it's distance. The D stands for distance. That's simple. The D stands for distance. Okay, sorry, writing on this board is really difficult. The R stands for rate. That tells you how fast is it traveling. What is the rate? What is the speed? And the T tells you the time. Okay, so D equals RT. So anytime you see those train problems and things like that, it's this formula, D equals RT. Now, how you substitute into this formula depends on a problem. So it tells us the rate. The rate is that it's traveling at a rate of 7 miles per hour. So I'm going to put 7 mph, or I could say m/h, miles per hour, right? So it's traveling at a rate of 7 miles per hour. And it is the distance, the D is 313 miles away from the coast of Florida. All right. And then I want to know, when will it make landfall? So I know what the rate is. I know what the distance is. So now I can plug it in. So the distance is 313. So I'm going to take that 313. I'm going to plug it in for distance. So I'm going to put 313. All right, I'm going to bring down my equal sign. I also know the rate. All right, the rate in this case is 7 miles per hour, right? So I could put a 7 right here. The only thing I don't know and what I'm trying to find out is the T. When will it make landfall? Okay, so I have 313 equals 7 times T. Now, in order for me to finish solving this problem, I need to get T by itself. I need to solve for T. What's keeping me from getting T by itself? Well, it's this number 7 right here. So I want to get rid of that 7. In order for me to do that, I'm going to divide both sides by 7. Since it's multiplied by 7, I'm going to divide both sides by 7. Right? 7 divided by 7 is 1. And then, so that leaves me with 1T over here on the right-hand side of the equal sign. That's a number 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 313 divided by 7. So I'm going to get my trusty calculator out. I could do long division. 313 divided by 7. That's going to give me a 44.7. 44.7. And that's 44.7 hours. So when will it make landfall? It'll approximately make landfall 44 point, writing on this board can be hard, 44.7 hours later. So I think when I created this problem, when I looked at the stats, right, it was on September 1st. So that was on a Sunday, I believe. Yeah, so it was last week, Sunday. Let's see, when did the hurricane actually make landfall? So let's go ahead and look that up. When did the hurricane actually hit Florida? When did Hurricane Dorian hit Florida? I'm going to go ahead and just Google that because I know it had a prediction date. All right. So CNN had a live update. Hurricane Dorian, you know when it hit. We know when it hit the Bahamas. That's not really answering my question. When did Hurricane Dorian hit Florida? All right. All right, so actually it was downgraded to Category 3, Category 2, and it never really did officially hit. Did it really officially hit Florida? So I'm looking this up. Thank you guys for bearing with me as I'm looking it up. Maybe I can share with you guys what I'm reading here. I'm on USA Today. So we said 44.7 hours later. So that's the answer to our problem, right? 44.7 hours later, and that is when it's expected that it will hit Florida, okay? So we did this on September 1st. So 44.7 hours later, that's approximately, there are 24 hours in a day. So you're looking at, that's approximately 44, that's approximately 2 days later. right? Not exactly, right? A little less than 2 days later. So if this was on Sunday, right, then Monday would be one day, and Tuesday would be the next day. So that's when we're anticipating, according to our math formula, that Hurricane Dorian would hit Florida. But we know that it slowed down tremendously and that there are other variables. So let's go ahead and see when Hurricane Dorian actually hit. All right, though the eye wall of Hurricane Dorian has not officially made landfall in the US, it came within 55 miles of Charleston in South Carolina late Thursday morning. All right, so it never really officially made landfall. So again, we talked about how there are all those different factors and variables, right? So it slowed down and it went to Charleston on Thursday. We were saying if it was going to hit Florida, it would happen on Tuesday. All right, so that's a little bit more north. Oh, not exactly an exact science, but you can use this distance formula to calculate when you're going to arrive someplace if you leave someplace at this time. So it's a good way, it's a good tool to help you know when to expect something. All right. So again, we went ahead and we substituted our variables, 313 for D. Our rate was 7 and our time was T. We divided both sides by 7 and we got a time of 44.7 hours later, which we can round and say it was approximately 45 hours later, we can expect Hurricane Dorian to make landfall. So that is how you would do a distance rate formula and how you can use a distance formula to help you calculate things like when a hurricane will make landfall. All right. Thank you guys for joining us and for watching the video. Again, I'd like to say thank you to our Patreon supporters. Thank you again. And if you want to become a supporter, I'll also put that link in the chat box below. Bye, everyone, and thank you.